Which final man that ain't got time to shake your head? Get that Snapchat, put it in pockets till I get back. Going downtown.
Yakuza Kiwami, and I know I'm probably butchering that, is basically, to me, a remake. I got into Yakuza, believe it or not, and if you've been my fan for all these years back in the time when I had the fucking camera and filming it, it was terrible. Anyway, if you stuck with me then, you knew I did a review on Yakuza and really enjoyed the game for what it was. It was actually a lot of fun and very different than the way they marketed it in America, so I thought it was really cool when this game came out all the way back in like 2005 or whenever it came out. So now we got Yakuza kind of like remade and redone for this generation because Yakuza 0, a prequel, came out last year, and this is kind of like the follow-up to that, even though it's mostly a remake for the older fans. However, is it really worth buying? Does it feel so outdated that maybe you shouldn't? I'm going to tell you right now.
Which final man that ain't got time to shake your head? Get that Snapchat, put it in pockets till I get
So let's discuss the good. Yakuza, one of the best things about all the games is they always have a pretty engaging story, and this game to me is the second best story in the long-running franchise. Now, there's multiple opinions out there what the best story is, and I personally enjoyed the most 3, even though I know some people didn't. However, this one to me still really holds as kind of the foundation of the series and what's separated from other sandbox type games back then. Everybody, when this came to America, thought this was going to be Grand Theft Auto, and in reality it was a game that had a lot of heart and a lot of story, and it was about the Yakuza, which is basically the Japanese mafia, and it is just really well told with actually solid voice acting in here because it's Japanese track, so I don't know if they're bad, and if they are, I don't care because you got the subtitles and everything reads really good. The story is always engaging, and it gives you characters you just will never forget. Also, this game just has the charm of being in Japan, so like, it's Japan. You're running around in Japan. There's not a lot of games that really let you do that. It's very different than most games now because, yeah, it's great. I love Grand Theft Auto games and all those type of games like Saints Row, but it's always like an urban city. New York, Chicago, LA, anything like that. However, Japan is different, and it's mostly at nighttime is when this game shines because everything looks so overcrowded and everything. And you feel like you're watching an anime almost, and it's so cool. On top of that, the graphics are a nice upgrade here. I really thought they improved it enough that this generation, I won't say they blew me away or anything, but this game is stationed at $30, so obviously they know they're giving it an overhaul, but not going to go full on like this is going to be brand new top of the line graphics. But I still think they got the job done, and it's really the unique atmosphere that still really makes this game look and feel different than anything else. And the last positive, this is a big one, this game offers a lot of extra stuff. Beyond just going through the streets and beating up thugs, which to me is awesome anyway, you actually get to do a lot of different side missions. It is humorous, and for me, I really just got right into the story. I love the RPG aspect of leveling up and getting new moves and stuff, but me getting into the story is my main thing. However, the option to do all that stuff, plus other fun activities, is definitely a big thing for a lot of gamers, and it's nice to have a game that offers that but doesn't force it upon you. Now, there's a couple of negatives that I have with this game, and it's similar to what the negatives I had in the old game, is the combat. Now, I was going to talk about the combat good because I still think, as far as like brutality, Yakuza is really unmatched. Like, the moves that you do and the way you beat up people is just so awesome and brutal that no other game really has it like that. On the flip side, this game does get really repetitive pretty quickly. The later installments definitely added a lot more to the combat, and this game does, after a little couple of things here and there to make it, but it definitely feels more stripped of that, in my opinion. So the combat itself kind of does get repetitive about midway through the game, and you're kind of just beating up thugs as fast as possible to get through the story. Also, the one thing is that it could be a turnoff for a lot of gamers. It is fully subtitled, I believe, and it's been a long time since I played it. The first Yakuza was dubbed, and I might be wrong, so if I am wrong, I'm sorry, but I feel like that would bring gamers who don't want to read subtitles anymore. It's not a negative in my opinion, but just to mention it is there. And the last thing is that the game does have tonal issues, and that's always been Yakuza. There's moments when it's just straight up mafia type pressure in these cutscenes, and then some just dumb happens and you start laughing. And sure, that does break up the tension, but it kind of feels really offbeat. And that's something that kind of grows on my nerves with the story, is that it can be so engaging, but with the tonal shifts and sometimes the long as shit conversations that really don't add much to the story, it just kind of is a negative in my opinion.
Waits for no man and ain't got time to shake your head. Get that side check, put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown.
I really think Yakuza is a good game. It is. I like this remake. I'm gonna call it. This is basically a remake. My main issue with it is that I think that this game wasn't really made for me. As much as I enjoyed the first one, I really had no intention to play it again, and this game really doesn't add enough that I'm like, wow, this is like a must buy for people who played the original. However, I will say this is a buy for people who have never played this game. See, Yakuza, a lot of people start off at different ones in the saga, and if you just played 0 last year, then coming into this is like a sequel, and that's great. So as far as that is, I recommend anyone who has not, only played the other Yakuzas to play this, or if you just want to start with Yakuza, like if you're wondering where to start, I have to say I think this is like the perfect jump on point because it's the first one ever made. Yeah, you can go back to 0 and that will add to the story here now, but honestly this game is still by itself a contained story, interesting, and you're going to enjoy it. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to give Yakuza a 7.5. I think it is a good game. Back in the day, I gave it an 8.5 because I thought it was great and very unique. But of course, over the years, the flaws start coming in with the combat system, and it's starting to feel a little bit too much for me to give it an 8 nowadays. But I still think it's a good game. Definitely worth checking out. And for newcomers, check this game out. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Everybody else, have a wonderful day.